Hi, everybody. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration here on how to use the How Science Works website for our first lab. So you will follow the link in the lab and it will bring you to this screen, and then you just hit this Launch Interactive button and it will take you, let me get the correct one here, it will take you to this screen. So there are two ways to use this particular website. There's the detailed version and the basic version. We're going to have you do one of each, but start with the basic version. And then I recommend that you start using the introduction. The introduction will take you through the basic layout of the flowchart that we're working through, and will give you a little bit more information about how it works. So it will take you through the introduction, and then it will get you going with the actual simulation. And this is what the simulation looks like. So here we have the flowchart, and what this flowchart is it is a representation of a process that can be used very similar to the process of the scientific method, whereby we can learn new things about the world, make new discoveries, and make advancements based on those discoveries. So there are sort of four main areas of this flowchart that are given in the different colors. The pink is an exploration and discovery section. The green is a testing of ideas. The sort of pale lavender over on the bottom right is community analysis and feedback. And over on the bottom left in the pale blue, you can look at benefits and outcomes. And so anytime you kind of work your way through a problem and look for solutions and evaluate situations, you're really weaving back and forth between these four main areas in this process of discovery. And this is the process that science can take. So what we want you to do in this lab is to come up with a scenario with which you might use this type of process. So tackling some kind of project, solving a problem, evaluating a situation. I believe the lab or the website might give you some suggestions. Maybe there's something that you're tackling in your own life right now that you could apply to this, or you can come up with something completely hypothetical. It's up to you, but we want you to come up with a scenario and then work your way through the flow chart, applying the process of working through that scenario. So I'm going to use a hypothetical scenario for you here. I'm curious to know whether there is a new app that might be better than my current app for tracking my fitness goals. So for my hypothetical example, you start by example project name in this big black box on the left-hand side. You would add in what your scenario is. So you type it right into here, and I would type in looking for a new fitness app that works better for tracking my fitness goals. Okay, and then you would put in whatever it is that you come up with for your own scenario. Now what we want to do is to work through this process, in my case, looking for a new fitness app, using this flow chart that's given to us on the right-hand side. And this is pretty small. You'll see that they have some plus and minus buttons over here on the top right-hand side. You can use to kind of enlarge it and make it smaller to be able to see it a little bit better. Now we can start at any single one of these little smaller bubbles that give kind of important points along the way of this flowchart, of this process. You can start anywhere you want. I recommend that you start somewhere kind of on the outer set of options, because that gives you more room to be able to move around within your scenario. I'm going to start mine with this bubble right up here in the upper left-hand side. And if I click on that bubble is new observation or idea. So if I'm to start this process of looking for my new fitness app, I'm going to start with a new observation or idea. So again, we're working hypothetically here, but perhaps perhaps I have a friend that has a new fitness app that she absolutely loves, and she's been recommending that I try it out. And I wonder if maybe or not it might work better for me. So if you click this little down arrow on the right-hand side of the banner that has your topic of where you are on the flowchart, that opens up a little box and you can add your description for your own particular scenario. So again, in my scenario, looking for a new fitness app, I can put in that my friend has I cannot spell and type at the same time, recommended a new app to me to try. And I wonder if it might work better. Okay. So that's my first little bubble. I'm now going to progress through this scenario by moving on to another bubble. So I'm going to follow the arrow over to the left here. I'm going to go into this big pink circle, and I'm just going to choose this bubble down here on the bottom. And it is the bubble for reading about scientific discoveries. So again, you can hit the little down arrow and add in a description about how this would work with your own scenario. So with my scenario, perhaps I go to the app in the Play Store and I read about the app's features as well as reviews. I look at both positive and negative reviews to learn more about it. Okay, now in this scenario, I'm not reading scientific literature, but I am furthering or I'm broadening my understanding by reading about the particular topic. Okay, I'm going to do two more examples just to show how this works, continue to illustrate the flowchart. So I was at this bubble here. I'm going to move down into the green region, the testing ideas area in the center here, and I'm going to choose this bubble right here. And so this bubble is coming up with an explanation. So I'm thinking about this again in terms of my own hypothetical example here. Let's say that I notice this particular app posts your progress, posts your fitness progress to social media. And I think that maybe my friend is finding this so helpful because she's very active on social media. So maybe the fact that this app is posting her progress to social media gives her a lot of encouragement. Maybe her family and her friends are kind of cheering her along by means of social media feedback. So this is my explanation. I have come up with an explanation as to why this app has been so helpful to my friend. So for this particular assignment, I would add that information into the box. So I would type in something like, the app posts to social media on which my friend is very active. She likes having friends cheer her on. Okay, we're going to look at one final one. I'm going to follow the flowchart from this testing ideas region over to the blue benefits and outcomes region. And in particular, I'm going to click on this one over here, which is satisfy curiosity. So in my example, I've learned more about this, but perhaps let's just say I'm not active on social media. And so after everything I've learned, I've decided that this app really probably isn't going to work well for me. I've satisfied my curiosity about it, but based on what I've learned, I've just decided that I'm going to stick with my original app. So in this, I would type in something like, I don't use social media, so I decide the app is not for me and I'll maybe look for another one. Okay, now in this particular lab, I think we want you to hit 7 different nodes. So you would need to continue on following the arrows. I think from here you can actually you can head into a couple of different bubbles. Keep working through this flow chart, augmenting and elaborating on your particular scenario until you satisfy the requirements of our assignment. To finish it up, you'll come over to these 3 little horizontal bars up here in the top right-hand corner of your screen. If you click on those and hit Export and then click PowerPoint, it will save it for you as a PowerPoint. And just before we finish up, I will show you quickly what that PowerPoint looks like. Let me find it here. There we go. So it will save it for you as a PowerPoint, giving a first slide where it gives what your initial scenario overview of your scenario is. So mine was again to determine what app might be better for tracking my fitness goals. And then it will show you the actual flow chart that you took through our little set of scenarios. It will show you which little bubbles you clicked on, and then for each of the bubbles, it will explain or it will include your explanation of how that relates to your specific scenario. So again, we want you to do this twice. You'll do it once with the basic and once with the advanced features, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thanks so much.